We know Marina Mabrey had a situation with Caitlin Clark in which she shoved her to the ground, and it made national news.
Marina Mabrey, that slime ball that viciously attacked Caitlin Clark, blindsided her like she was in a football game.
They're talking about investigations, and now you're terrified. Now you're scared.
2 minutes ago, the shocking truth behind Marina Mabrey's vicious attack on Caitlin Clark just took a major turn.
Marina Mabrey is trying to moonwalk back said incident now that somebody's actually talking about actual government involvement, of which that play by her, it wasn't even a play. Again, there was no play going on.
A federal investigation has reportedly been launched, and Mabrey is suddenly backpedaling after months of defiance.
Caitlin Clark does deserve to play in a non-hostile work environment.
This is about more than basketball. It's about safety, respect, and the way Caitlin has been treated since entering the league. Comment 100% if you stand with Caitlin Clark.
Perhaps the most infamous moment of the 2025 season was on June 17th. We know that's when the shove came.
Perhaps the most infamous moment of the 2025 WNBA season came on June 17th during the game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun.
June 17th, Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun. What was supposed to be just another WNBA regular season game turned into one of the most infamous moments of the year.
The moment came in the third quarter after star Fever guard Caitlin Clark was poked in the eye by Sun guard J.C. Sheldon.
Midway through the third quarter, Caitlin Clark was battling through tough defense when Sun guard J.C. Sheldon came in with a reckless swipe and poked her directly in the eye.
Caitlin Clark was walking away from J.C. Sheldon. They barely got into it. Like, she was walking away as much as anything.
Clark is obviously trying to get some space away from her, and she made it worse.
The whistle didn't blow right away, and Clark, clearly in discomfort, began walking away to create space.
Marina Mabrey to come up and shove Clark to the ground. Is that what we're calling it? Because it wasn't a shove. It was, I'm going to drive my entire body into your body. That's what that was.
She wasn't trash talking. She wasn't shoving anyone. She was disengaging. And that's when it happened. Out of nowhere, veteran guard Marina came charging in from behind and slammed her entire body into Clark, sending her crashing to the floor.
This extracurricular stuff that is blatantly not a basketball play.
This wasn't a hand check. This wasn't a hard foul while going for the ball. There was no live play, no basketball movement. It was a blatant, unnecessary hit.
Marina Mabrey, that slime ball that viciously attacked Caitlin Clark, blindsided her like she was in a football game.
I'm going to drive my entire body into your body. That's what that was.
Fans immediately recognized it for what it was, a cheap shot. Replay angles made it even clearer. Clark was blindsided, off balance, and completely unprotected when Mabrey struck.
Diamond DeShields slamming into her like she's a safety in the National Football League. You're trying to tell me that was a basketball play? Nah, it wasn't.
Commentators compared it to something you'd see in football, not on a basketball court.
It prompted Fever enforcer Sophie Cunningham to essentially start a brawl by grabbing and throwing Sheldon to the ground. Now, we ultimately remember that. That was legendary.
The aftermath was chaotic. Technical fouls flew. Fever forward Sophie Cunningham, known as one of the league's enforcers, stepped in later that game to get her teammates licked back, sparking a full-on brawl.
She pretty much instilled into the rest of the league, hey, you know what? It's a green light and still attacking Caitlin Clark. Y'all can get away with it for now.
But by then, the damage was done, both to Clark physically and to the already heated narrative around how she's been targeted all season.
The Kennedy Carter bitch slam that started this all against the Chicago Sky last year. Then you had also against the Sky, the Caitlin Clark running down the court, Diamond DeShields slamming into her like she's a safety in the National Football League.
This wasn't an isolated moment either. It came after other notorious incidents. Kennedy Carter's blindside hip check, Diamond DeShields' football-style collision. All against Clark, all outside of normal basketball plays.
They are talking about her civil rights being violated. That's how much nasty work you guys have done. They are talking about this girl's civil rights being violated. You don't think that's ridiculous?
And for many, the Mabrey shove was the final straw that put the hostile work environment claims in the WNBA on the national stage.
2 days after the shove, heard around the women's basketball world, Mabrey was heard saying, quote, "Damned if I do, damned if I don't," when addressing a commentator on the Instagram live stream who called her out for shoving Clark.
When addressing a commentator on the Instagram live stream who had called her out for shoving Clark.
In the immediate aftermath of the shove, Marina Mabrey wasn't apologetic. She was defiant. Just 2 days later, during an Instagram live session, she responded to fans calling her out with a smug line, "Damned if I do, damned if I don't." No remorse, no acknowledgement of wrongdoing, just the tone of someone doubling down.
I thought it only got upgraded to a flagrant 2 foul because the way the fans reacted to it. That lets you know right then and there that she didn't give a fuck about doing it.
She even claimed the only reason her foul was upgraded to a flagrant 2 was because of the way the fans reacted. In her mind, the crowd's outrage, not the fact she blindsided the league's biggest star in a non-basketball play, was what got her in trouble.
I thought it only got upgraded to a flagrant 2 because the way the fans reacted to it, Marina Mabrey said, of the shove, "You literally pushed her to the ground." They gave me a tech for it initially. I don't care, honestly. I really don't. Obviously,
she admitted she got a technical foul for it at first, but shrugged it off, saying, "I don't care, honestly. I really don't." Then came the attempt to justify her actions.
Me and Caitlin were cool. Me and Caitlin have competed against each other in the playoffs. She threw me into the benches in the quarterfinals. We didn't go after her for it. She's competitive. I was about trying to get the ball. I get it. Throw me out of bounds. We got back up and kept competing. Yeah, but the problem is when this incident happened, you were not competing.
Mabrey brought up a playoff game from the year before where she claimed Caitlin Clark had thrown her into the bench. But there's one big difference. That moment happened during live play, while both were going for a loose ball. What Mabrey did in June wasn't that. There was no ball in play, no defensive positioning, no competition for possession. It was an ambush.
Because if y'all didn't foul her, she would have been getting fouled all season anyway. Let's be serious. The green light is out, is on Caitlin Clark from Kathy Engelbert. Y'all all know it, so y'all are taking advantage of it.
Her explanation shifted again when she said she probably overreacted because her teammate was getting hit, but replays told a different story. Clark wasn't attacking anyone. In fact, she was the one backing away after getting poked in the eye. Mabrey had her back turned for most of the interaction and still charged in, making her claim of protecting a teammate fall flat.
Now, in a blue state, I don't know. But in Texas, yeah, your ass probably going to jail over it. For something, battery, assault, something.
What's more, this wasn't her first questionable act. Footage from earlier in the season shows her swinging at Fever star Aaliyah Boston, a blow that missed but was clear enough to add to her reputation. Fans and analysts began connecting the dots. This wasn't just one heat-of-the-moment reaction, but part of a larger pattern of overly aggressive, non-basketball contact. The timing of Mabrey's sudden self-reflection raised even more eyebrows.
I kid you not. You couldn't just do that to somebody. Said gas station attendant wants a non-hostile work environment.
She started softening her tone and admitting to overreacting right after the Wall Street Journal published its viral piece about Caitlin Clark facing a hostile work environment in the WNBA, a piece that triggered national media attention and discussions about federal involvement.
Yeah, she swung at Aaliyah Boston and didn't connect. She just got lucky that she didn't connect 10 seconds earlier. So that's just the way I'm looking at it. That is just the way I'm looking at it. I'm just there like, look, Marina Mabrey absolutely was just pissed off in that game, and the Fever were killing them. And
with talk of government investigators possibly questioning players about Clark's treatment, many saw Mabrey's change in attitude as pure damage control. She went from laughing on the sidelines after the hit to cautiously explaining herself in interviews. A shift that had nothing to do with sportsmanship and everything to do with protecting herself, now that real consequences might be coming.
But in Texas, yeah, your ass probably going to jail over it. For something, battery, assault, something.
People higher than Kathy are now talking about investigations.
It's just a weird situation because it seems simultaneously like it's, yeah, I overreacted, but also, you know what, I do it again.
Caitlin Clark gonna tear that ass up when she see you on the court.
The aftermath of Marina Mabrey's shove has gone far beyond a single game highlight. It's become a focal point in a growing storm around the WNBA and how it has handled Caitlin Clark's treatment since her rookie season began. The Wall Street Journal's hostile work environment report didn't just trend.
If this lawsuit thing goes the way I think it's going to go, and that's mean Caitlin Clark is possibly going to bankrupt the league if she sue him. Marina Mabrey, you got to look at yourself in the mirror if your league is gone.
It exploded into national conversation. Major outlets like Fox News, ESPN, and countless sports talk shows dissected the same three incidents over and over. Kennedy Carter's blindside hip check, Diamond DeShield's football-style hit, and Marina Mabrey's shove.
She hit Aaliyah Boston with the spinning back fist. What did Aaliyah Boston do to her? It was like 10 seconds earlier.
Now, we know Marina Mabrey had a situation with Caitlin Clark in which she shoved her to the ground, and it made national news.
All of them were dangerous. All of them happened outside of legitimate basketball plays, and all of them had one target in common: Caitlin Clark. Now, the chatter has moved into the realm of real consequences. Multiple commentators have suggested that federal authorities could compel WNBA leadership, coaches, and even players like Mabrey to answer direct questions under oath.
The game before that, when you saw Clark, you stopped her from signing autographs so you could hug her. I would have thought y'all was cool. Now, all of a sudden, fast forward to the Connecticut game, she got Sheldon over here. You're knocking her to the ground.
The issue isn't just about a hard foul anymore. It's about whether Clark has been subjected to targeted physical aggression in an unsafe workplace. If that's the case, it's not just a basketball problem. It's a legal one. For Mabrey specifically, this is dangerous territory.
So yeah, perhaps those infamous moment came on June 17th, yeah. The moment came in the third quarter. Actually, you know what? In my opinion, the Sophie Cunningham thing is as infamous. This led to a brief scuffle between Clark and Sheldon, which prompted Connecticut veteran Marina Mabrey to come up and shove Caitlin to the ground.
Her shove wasn't just reckless. It was the kind of act that, outside of a sports arena, could be classified as assault. Legal experts have already pointed out that in certain states, doing something like that to someone in public could lead to criminal charges. And in the context of a federal workplace investigation, it could be cited as evidence of a pattern of abuse.
This not only incited several technical fouls and weeks of heated discussion about how Caitlin Clark is treated by peers afterwards, but it prompted Fever enforcer Sophie Cunningham to essentially start a brawl. 2 days later, after the shove to her world, Mabrey was heard saying, "Damned if I do, damned if I don't," when addressing a commenter on an Instagram livestream who called her ever shoving Clark.
The WNBA's role in all of this is also under fire. Critics say the league has been afraid of its own players, hesitant to discipline certain stars for fear of being labeled biased or politically motivated. That hesitation, they argue, has allowed a culture of excessive physicality and targeting to thrive. In Clark's case, it's meant repeated dangerous plays with little to no meaningful punishment. And the public isn't buying the excuses anymore.
Because now they're talking about investigations, and now you're terrified. Now you're scared.
The Marina Mabrey, Caitlin Clark situation.
For many fans, Mabrey's shove became the defining image of the season, a symbol of jealousy, resentment, and a refusal to respect the player who's done more than anyone to grow the league's audience. With federal attention now looming and lawsuits being discussed, the pressure is unlike anything the WNBA has faced before. And for Marina Mabrey, her split-second decision to charge at Caitlin Clark on June 17th might be the moment that follows her for the rest of her career, in the court of public opinion, and maybe in a courtroom as well.
That's how much nasty work you guys have done. They are talking about this girl's civil rights being violated. You don't think that's ridiculous? All because of the way you guys have acted and the way you guys have carried things out this season. We are not forgetting what you did.
Perhaps the most infamous moment of the 2025 season was on June 17th. We know that's when the shove came.
Perhaps the most infamous moment of the 2025 WNBA season came on June 17th during the game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun.
What happened on June 17th wasn't just another hard foul, it was a turning point. Marina Mabrey's hit on Caitlin Clark didn't just ignite a brawl, it sparked a nationwide debate and may have opened the door for federal investigators to step in.
That's a reach-in foul. And we've talked about reach-in fouls on this platform ad nauseum. In basketball, a reach-in foul occurs when the defender extends their arm, causing an illegal obstruction of the offensive player's movement.
Now, with the league's credibility on the line and real questions being asked about player safety, the WNBA can't just brush this off as part of the game anymore. For Caitlin, this is about more than basketball. It's about being able to step on the court without being a constant target. And for Mabrey, this is no longer just a sports headline. It could be a career-defining mistake. The spotlight is only getting brighter, the stakes are only getting higher, and one thing is clear: the truth about how Caitlin Clark has been treated is coming out, and the world is watching. Comment 100% if you stand with Caitlin Clark and believe the league must protect its players.